This fall, the FISA Foundation announced the initiative Access to Healthcare for People with Disabilities, which was focused on improving equitable care in southwestern Pennsylvania. During this video, I will explain the purpose of the mini grants, who can apply, ideas for your project focus, important dates, and important things to include in your proposal. We will then talk about the actual application, additional information needed, and how to submit it. This initiative focused on improving equitable care in southwestern PA. The initiative has several components, which include a report called A Far Cry from Fair Healthcare Access for People with Disabilities, which highlights the barriers that people with disabilities face in the healthcare system. A video series including individuals with disabilities who share their barriers in the healthcare system, as well as their vision for what accessible care should look like, and a series of fact sheets that include best practices in accessible healthcare. These resources amplify the voices and stories of people with disabilities, point to the most urgent problems that are ripe for improvement, and are fundamental to this initiative. Now, FISA is excited to introduce mini grant opportunities. Please use these resources as you prepare for writing your application. Many people with disabilities struggle to get health care they need because facilities are not accessible, equipment isn't usable, and staff may not understand how to provide equitable care that they need to be able to provide for folks with disabilities. This project aims to fix these problems and make healthcare more inclusive and accessible. This is an opportunity to apply for funding to improve healthcare access for people with disabilities in southwestern Pennsylvania. The FISA Foundation is looking for creative and impactful projects to tackle the ongoing barriers and discrimination faced by the disability community in healthcare. Projects should aim for lasting change and involve the leadership of people with disabilities and inclusion of their voices in meaningful ways during the planning and implementation of the project. For this project, FISA defines disability as a physical or cognitive impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. Proposals with the main goal of providing mental health or substance abuse treatments will not be considered because there are multiple other funding sources in the area that meet those needs and provide funding for those opportunities. Grants for this project will range between $1,000 and $20,000. Who can apply for these grant opportunities? FISA will fund nonprofit organizations that are led by or focused on people with disabilities, organizations that provide healthcare, health clinics, hospitals, or health centers, nonprofits that offer training for healthcare providers or students, or organizations working on healthcare access in any way within the 10-county area of southwestern Pennsylvania. If your organization is not officially a nonprofit, you can still apply by working with a nonprofit as a fiscal sponsor. FISA is looking at multiple different ways to address the healthcare barriers in the region. This list is not all-encompassing, and we wanted to leave it open for you to use your creative ideas to make a difference. Your project should focus on one or more of the following areas, but are not limited to the following topics. The first one is education, and training. This could include teaching healthcare providers about their legal responsibilities or how to provide accessible healthcare. It may also include helping people with disabilities understand their rights and how to advocate. The next possibility is accessible improvements. This could include things like conducting audits to determine any accessibility issues and to address those barriers. It could also include buying accessible equipment and training staff on how to use it. Number 3 is to reduce discrimination. Projects in this area may include providing training for healthcare staff on working respectfully with people with disabilities. Number 4 is on social determinants of health, which includes addressing issues like transportation, childcare, or financial barriers that make it hard for people with disabilities to access healthcare. The next area is policy and advocacy. This could include working on changes to laws or policies to improve healthcare access for people with disabilities. And number 6 is your own creative ideas, and you may be able to propose other initiatives or ideas on ways to improve healthcare access for people with disabilities. These are some important dates that you should know as you're considering applying for this opportunity. There will be an opportunity for an optional information session on January 29th at 1 to 2 p.m. online. This session will include ASL and captioning for access. We plan to talk about the ways to apply and answer questions that you may have about the process or potential ideas. The applications are then due on March 3rd by 11:59 p.m. And then all decisions on funding will be announced by June 1st. And so all individuals will be informed on whether their proposal was funded by that date. These are a few things that you should consider including in your proposal for a project and funding. Include the voices and leadership of people with disabilities in your project. This may include having individuals with disabilities in leadership roles, writing letters of support, or having a stipend advisory council. There are multiple ways to include the leadership and guidance of people with disabilities. Next thing to highlight is focusing on removing real barriers. So this bullet means that we need to be looking at things that will permanently improve accessibility for individuals with disabilities in healthcare systems. The next bullet is explaining how your project will have a long-term impact on improving healthcare access, so far beyond the end of this mini grant. Next, we will be talking about the actual application process. The actual application is in a Word document with fillable areas beside each question. You will need to use this form for submitting your proposal and everything else as you move forward in this process. You will want to start this process by downloading the grant application. Then, of course, you will want to complete the actual application form. After that, there are multiple other pieces of information that are listed in the application, but that you will need to attach to the email when you send it in with your application proposal. So the additional attachments that you will need include an executive summary, which is a short overview of the project, the project narrative, which goes into much greater detail about the project, what it will do, how it will be carried out, how it will be evaluated will then be another attachment, and that will be up to 4 pages long. Then you will include a brief bio of the executive director of the organization that's submitting this proposal. In that bio, we ask that the race, gender, and disability be included. We do not share this information, but it is included as we monitor the status of different projects and grants that are being supported throughout the region. Additionally, we will want the brief bios of key staff who are going to be working on the project, followed by the program and project budget, which will be a breakdown of how much different aspects of the actual project will cost, along with the overall program. Then you have the option to include letters of support. And these could be letters from experts in the area, folks with disabilities, or other organizations supporting your project and application. Then this all needs to be sent together in one email to info@fisafoundation.org by March 3rd. Now we're going to talk more directly about the actual application form. This form is a Word document with fillable boxes that is screen reader friendly and is also usable by speech to text software. In the first section, we look at organization info. So you're going to include the organization name and contact details for the organization that is submitting this proposal or application. Then you will include the executive director's name and email for that organization. Then if there is somebody else that we should be contacting with any questions or follow-up, that should be included under contact person. And there is additional information requested about that person. Then there is a budget and tax ID that is requested for the organization. The next section is the project details. This will include the project name, what type of project it is, so things like whether it's a new project or if it's ongoing, a short description of what the project is, the amount of money that you're requesting to support your proposed project, and if it has additional expenses or costs tied to it that are not necessarily tied to what you are requesting from this application. Then the region or area that the project will serve. Section 3 describes disability inclusion and explores the way the project will incorporate folks with disabilities and be accessible to them. So you will be asked to describe whether your space is accessible for people with disabilities, what other work you do to include people with disabilities in this project, and whether your policies mention with people with disabilities. The last part is the certification, which is a signature and date that confirms that you have completed the application to the best of your ability and all the information is correct. If you have any questions or require assistance, please email Shani Leeson at shani@FISAfoundation.org. Again, it is SHANI@FISAFOUNDATION.org. Thank you.